Redfern is a very diverse community with many creative and cultural aspects to it, including galleries, cafes, and restaurants. It is located only 3.8 kilometers from the central business district and has a population density of approximately 12,000 residents, according to the 2011 census. This area has experienced a period of immense gentrification over the recent years. During this period, crime rates were reduced, displacement was introduced, and economic shifts were brought on. Not a single act of crime or violence was seen when we went to visit as a class, showing the success of this movement. The land of Redfern was first used by settlers for grazing and by industries dependent on water from adjacent swamplands such as wool washing and brickworks. Further subdivision commenced in 1853 with residential development in the form of terrace housing and workers' cottages, peaking in the early 1880s. By this time, the nearby railway yards in Everleigh began to offer employment opportunities in addition to other industries in the area, such as tanneries, brickworks, and market gardens. In the 1930s, a powerful movement arose that saw social housing as a social service, but it wasn't until 1941 that housing received a substantial government commitment. The government proposed the establishment of the Housing Commission of New South Wales with the goals of reclaiming slums, resulting slum dwellers in decent surroundings, and making adequate provision for a steady growing population. The block represented the first urban land rights claim of Australian Aboriginals, when the government deeded the area to the Aboriginal Housing Company in the early 1970s. Largely Indigenous people living in the subsidised social housing mostly occupied the area. The 2004 riots in the area were a big reminder of the problems between some citizens and the local police. Now the block is the most valuable available location in Sydney. 10,000 square metres of prime real estate right in the heart of the gentrifying Redfern, and less than 4 kilometers from the CBD. It was once home to as many as 100 Aboriginal households, a magnet for Aboriginals from all over New South Wales. According to the 2006 census by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, there are a total of 11,350 local residents in the suburb of Redfern. In contrast to the data collected in 2011, roughly 12,100 residents, the population density has increased by 6% over 5 years in this area and seems to be on a constant trend due to the effectiveness of gentrification over the past 20 years, making the location more desirable. In 2011, there were roughly 6,600 dwellings located in the suburb and roughly 6,300 in 2006, again showing the success of the process of gentrification. Redfern had a significant number of public policy issues come together in 2005, such as Indigenous housing, urban renewal, and urban consolidation. For the past 30 years, the Aboriginal Housing Company has devised grand plans to rebuild the block as a modern, affordable housing precinct for Aborigines. The dream is known as the Pemulwuy Project, an ambitious $70 million commercial and residential development. It is represented as the most significant urban renewal opportunities on Aboriginal land in Australia, and the social plan is now recognised as one of the most important social planning strategies in Indigenous community urban renewal projects. It proposes a mixed development on the block and adjacent landowners by the AHC, comprising 62 homes, a business college, a student hostel, retail and office space, a museum, a fitness centre, Aboriginal markets, and a cultural centre. All of these seem to be quite useful for the residents, as we saw a lot of residents exercising and visiting local stores. The Pemulwuy project will come with many advantages, such as the area becoming safer, cleaner, purely residential, and neighbourly bonds strengthening. However, there are also some disadvantages to come, such as too many units being built in this high-density area, more shops needing to open due to this increase in population, and more public transport to be required.